The Osprey, Talon and Tempest have been probably the most popular technical packs in the world for years now. They've really crossed that line between walking and maybe going a bit faster, cycling or running or something. So this latest iteration, the Talon Velocity 20, I think is going to be absolutely brilliant. So the standard Talon and Tempest still exist, we still stock them, they are absolutely brilliant for lightweight walking and hiking and things like that. But the Velocity range, I just think adds that little bit extra. So many people are really keen on going fast and light now, if you will, or just, let's just go with light, you might not have to go fast. And what that means is you want things closer fitting, you might want to even go for a run in it, you might want to scramble in it, you might want to ride your bike in it or skiing it, anything like that. And this bag will do all of those things. So we stock both the Talon Velocity 20, which is the men's one, and the Tempest Velocity 20, which is the women's. Got a couple of colours in those. And what's really cool is they come in different back lengths as well, being quite tall. I really appreciate that. And even better than that, those back lengths are then adjustable, so you can get it really well fine-tuned. Firstly, one of the things I really like about the fine-tuning is because I would run or I would walk in this, I sometimes like the weight sitting on my hips a bit better for walking, so it can carry a bigger load. Once you are running, that would just bounce and get out of the way. So I like to shorten it, get it really snug and treat it more like a race vest. The material of the pack is a recycled nylon face fabric, and it's got 210 denier on the upper here and 420 on the bottom for that extra durability when you're dropping on walls and things like that. It's also PFC free DWR in there, so a good environmental touch. So even though it's light, it's not the lightest rucksack on the market. It's 870 grams for the men's. Now that's pretty light, of course, and it will carry a load really well, but it's not a race vest. Those running race vests come in really light, but they don't take much weight. They're not going to get structure and weight onto your hips. This bag will do both. So like I mentioned, it's a really good crossover piece. Lots of people are going to buy this as their standard hill walking pack. However, I think a lot of people are going to use it for those longer runs. You know, when you're carrying a bit more weight, possibly overnight stuff, and the normal race vest would just start sagging and the movement would be just too much and you couldn't hack it. This rucksack will do that for you. It really starts feeling and looking like a race vest when you look at the back system. So as you can already see, these shoulder straps with the bottles here and everything, that's the way race vests work. However, this is like a race vest with the tried and tested Airscape back system from Osprey. So you'll recognise that from the standard Talon range. And as you can see here, it's adjustable. So I've adjusted it for being a bit longer because we've just walked in here today, getting the weight on my hips. I could easily lower that if I was either shorter or wanting to sit it a little bit higher because I'm going to go for a run in it. I think everyone loves this Airscape back system so much because it's sort of like one of those trampoline venting backs, but it doesn't actually keep the weight away from you. It keeps it nice and secure. So if you are scrambling or running, like I keep banging on about, you do feel a bit more stable with that. Those venting ones are great, but they're for slower paced activities in my eyes. But what everyone's going to really love is the race vest inspired ideas of pockets all up front. If you do quite a lot of running in a race vest, you do get quite used to having your water bottles up front. And going back to a rucksack sort of feels like, oh, have I got to get my water bottle out? How old school. So nice having a rucksack where two 500ml soft bottles can sit up front. So I've got one in here and you can stick another one in there. And that's just great because, you know, there's no sloshing, drink as you go. But there's also lots more you can get in here. I've got my big chunky phone in this zip pocket too, and you could still have a flask in there. And then you've got these little pockets where you could keep like snack bars or energy gels just here too. And then on top of that, of course, you've got the tried and tested hip belt pockets. So in there I've got some snack bars, and you could easily get your sunglasses in this other one, which is sort of a loose opening to get something a bit bigger in. So if that didn't give you enough accessibility, you can actually get to these big bungee side pockets from two different directions, from the top or from the side. So you could actually get your bottle out while walking without having to stop and get it out the top. If you're not a fan of these sort of bottles, you can actually still use a bladder or go down the back in this little space here and then just run the tube down here as well. And what they've always done with the Talon range, which has been copied by many brands, but it's a great idea, is that the bladder actually lives in a gap between the main compartment and the back system. So that's good for a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't feel like it's in the bag and you've got to like allow a bit more room for it. Two, if it ever broke and the water drained out, there's a little hole at the bottom and it will drain out and it won't be soaking all your stuff in there. And then three, if you did want to refill it, you don't have to get the whole bag out and empty all your kit out. You can actually just slide it out, refill it, slide it back in. Something I think I like over a race vest is the fact that you've got proper chunky clips still on the chest harness here. Some of the race vest ones, tiny little hooks that are really fiddly to do, proper good and solid, can take a load really well. You can slide these buckles up and down so you can have really good adjustment. And of course the top one, like Osprey always do, you've got your little emergency whistle on there. So spinning it around, I'll show you the other side. On the top here, it's got a bit more like nearly like a climbing style buckle that you can close the top up with. And under there is one of the nice pull cords so you can just easily access the main compartment. But also what you'll notice is this huge big mesh panel here is actually all pocket. So you could actually probably slide a bike helmet in there if you had to, but you'd also get a jacket if you wanted to dry it, easily get a map, things you're getting in and out all the time, just brilliant. And I think the nice stretchy closure over the top, it would be brilliant for putting, if you were climbing with it, a rope over the top here or a helmet. I actually think this rucksack would be really good for things like doing the Cuillin Ridge. You know, you're going quite fast, you're moving all day, you don't want a big heavy rucksack on your back, but you do need a rucksack, it's got quite a lot of gear. Something like this would be brilliant, so running along, get your gear out, and then do the pitch, and then put it all away again, and off you go. For me, something that's always really important in a bag like this is the compression straps on the side. So this has got two brilliant ones, one here and one here. The reason I like that so much is you are walking into a route or a climb or whatever, and then you get all your gear out or you put all your clothes on and it's nearly empty. If it rattles, the stuff inside rattles around, that's really annoying, especially if you are going fast. So compressing that nice and tight means it feels really secure on your back. I also really like the fact that they've put ice axe attachments on it. If you want to carry ice axes on this bag, which again, I can imagine you doing if you're doing some sort of quick stuff in the Alps or even in Scotland if the weather ever allowed, you could actually keep your ice axes on the back and hook them through here. This could also be used for sort of longer walking poles as well. Obviously I've got some Z poles stuck in the side here, but if you had the longer style ones, you wanted to put them on the back, that would just swallow those nicely. So most people using a bag like this would probably use some kind of Z pole or lightweight pole. Obviously you've seen I've dropped it in the side there, but this bag features the brilliant Osprey Stow-on-the-go system. So if you haven't seen this before, it's quite simple. It's a bungee thing here that attaches on your shoulder strap, and then there's another one down the bottom of the pack. So you can actually put your poles away while you're moving without stopping and getting them out again. So you don't have to stop, get your rucksack off every time you want to put your poles away or get them out. So there isn't much to show you inside the bag itself. It's just one big compartment. You have got a little zippered pocket here with the all-important key clip as well, which I've currently got my keys in. So all in all, that's got to be one of the most versatile rucksacks I've ever seen. You could easily use it as like your work bag, a commuter style bag. You get a laptop in there if you want. You could walk to work in it, run to work in it, cycle in it. I think it's really been thought about for skiing and mountain climbing as well as just general hill walking, and of course running or just being fast and light and really comfortable. So I'd quite like to stop talking and go and use it if that's all right.